Hello everyone and welcome. I am Tim on the Rebirth pack here, and today I'm going to be going over my Nether Star factory. And there's actually a lot of moving parts involved with it, and I'm going to kind of run through and hit on each part of it, but kind of also feature a couple of mods as well as I go through the whole process of what I'm doing, why I'm doing certain things, and just kind of the ultimate goal here. Oh, I will admit I have no idea what I'm going to do with the Nether Stars. It's just going to be a way of making them without killing withers or mining material. So it's all going to be 100% self-sufficient. Just requires pretty much power. But yeah, so kind of show you what I've got so far. Now I'm doing this through Steve's Factory Manager. Right now it's turned off, so on. So you see what's. I don't remember which one is which. I think it's. Oh, actually. Say it right here. Okay, 1001. I had to put on the switch because it was just eating up all my iron, and it will just keep going until it runs out of a material because it's pulling through my ME. So like I said, I'm doing this with Steve's Factory Manager, and this is it right here. They're all my triggers and whatnot. I have these all going through a redstone trigger, so they require a redstone signal to do anything at all. That's why this is here. And there's probably a more efficient way of doing this, but it looks messy, and there's a better way of doing it. Let me know. But this is the most direct way. I'm not super familiar with Steve's Factory Manager. I get the gist of it. I know how to set it up. But I haven't really messed with these guys here yet. Groups and command groups. I just got familiar with these couple guys down here. Haven't done any of these. I don't know if I need to or not. Really be useful for something, but mainly I've been doing it for auto crafting and then just doing interacting with machines. And I like Steve's Factory Manager alongside AE2 because, as we all know, AE2 uses channels, and channels can be a bit of a pain in the ass to manage. So what I'm doing, for example, here with my inscribers, what I'll eventually do is I'll just hook up one interface to this chest, because this is the chest that the this manager pulls all materials from. This is a little different, which one I'm not showing it with. Might eventually convert it to this method, but for now this one's just feeding straight at materials. That's it. Whereas this one has a chest. It's pretty much, well, it's actually not hooked up to my ME at all. I just throw my silicon whatnot I need to in there by hand. But I will eventually hook it up with an ME interface and then create a recipe. What's that thing called? The thing with ME, the crafting cell. There's a name for it, I forget it. But you can basically interface it with a chest, and you can say, for example, you tell the ME, craft one logic processor using one printed silicone and one logic circuit card, the other component to this, and then you can tell your ME system to also craft one silicone just by placing one piece of silicone into this chest. And so what your ME system would do is when you go to craft it through here, it's going to go, oh, I need to craft it. I recognize the recipe interface for this chest. I'm just going to stick this piece of silicone in here and then wait for one silicone to finish. And Steve's Factory Manager will just handle it from there. So it's just waiting for that item to pop in the chest. So that really saves on interfaces or channels, because you just need to attach one interface and a channel to this one chest rather than to each individual machine. So we'll be combining Cease Factory Manager with AE2 in that manner, just to help make things a little easier on managing Anywho, so here is my little setup. I am out of lava. Okay, this is my lava pump. I'm trying to get away from lava pumps. I don't like the idea of just relying on non-renewable resources. So we'll be experimenting with volcanic furnaces in a later episode and setting up some pretty powerful lava gen. Just give me 1 second. Guys, negative 14.7. But I will be using Cease Factory Manager and the Gany's mods. Take care of that later. For now, just pumping it from the Nether. You will need lava, plenty of it, for your carpenters, which is what I'm doing here. I'm just pumping it straight into the carpenters. And I'm doing it through these Ender-IO cables. So if you're not familiar with Ender-IO, you can compact multiple cable types in one space. So this is both item and power. I think I got fluid. No, item is being handled by Cease Factory Manager, right? So this is fluid and power being routed through here. So you do need power and lava for this. This top row here is creating the recipe. Gaia. There we go. Reinforced ingot. We have Forestry extras on here, and what Forestry extras does, it adds a recipe for making dragon eggs and Nether stars, which is how I'm able to do this in the first place. But to do it, what you need to do is you need to craft with the carpenters something called a reinforced ingot, which is this recipe here: obsidian, iron. And if you're not familiar with how carpenters work, you just apply your recipe here, and as long as there's materials down here, it'll make what it needs to make. And it also usually requires a fluid of some sort here, either seed oil, lava, or water, depending on the recipe you're trying to do. So this top row is all of those, as you can see here. And that's just feeding that back into these guys down here. And I'm actually doing it to where this one puts the reinforced ingots directly into here, and so on and so forth. If you don't separate, goodness. I was doing good for the longest time with not having warp, and I just started doing more Thumbcraft, and it all came back to me. But yeah, if you don't separate your machines, if you say, for example, put iron and obsidian into these carpenters from a chest, it's gonna try to fill up one with a material before moving on to the next, and then if you do that with same thing with an ingot, say you have your output going back into a chest and then pull from that to any of the other carpenters, it's gonna shove like all the reinforced ingots in one carpenter, and then basically these would be rendered useless. You gotta kind of specifically tell it to go from here to here, and then from here to here, so on and so forth. If that makes sense. Kind of a little bit of pain that Cease Factory Manager won't spread contents evenly across all inventories. There is a way, I haven't found out how, but kind of got to force it to do it this way. So yeah, reinforcing it, throw it into another carpenter, and this one uses a reinforced ingot, 2 blaze rods, 2 soul sand. And that produces your Witheria ingot, and then if you combine 8 of them with Ender Pearl, note you have to do this through just a regular shaped crafting, not the carpenter, gets you another start. Pretty straightforward. It does consume a lot of resources, especially lava, and it is time consuming. That is probably the biggest factor. It just takes a while to make one. You have to make 8 of these and then 8 area. And then it gets even a little bit more involved with the dragon egg. It's actually the same process, except you take the wither area ingot, I think. Try not to bore you here too much. Wither ingot, and then yeah, combine with Eyes of Ender, Ender Pearls, you get this Draconic ingot. Not to be confused with Draconium from Draconic Evolutions. Not the same thing. This is specifically forestry extras, and then you combine that with another star to get your dragon egg. So if you're making another stars with the forestry extras, you're gonna be consuming, let's see here, twice as many with your ingots. So if I'm doing the math right, 16 per dragon egg. There's not many steps involved. It's actually only, if you see here, there's only 3 steps plus the crafting. But what I have going on is a production of obsidian. I'm not producing iron through any means other than mining it. This is the only one I have to collect from the world, as well as lava. As for the blaze rods and the soul sand, I am farming those 2 materials. And obsidian, you could probably take a guess. I'm just igneous extruders. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to explain what these do. Been around for quite a while in mod packs. However, there is this mod called Gany's Nether, and I will go over it real quick because I haven't seen this mod used in a lot of other mod packs, so it's kind of unique to our mod pack, and it really is a great mod. If you remember a mod called Magic Crops, where you could grow like diamonds and redstone and stuff like that, well, it's not that. It closely resembles it. Well, I won't say closely, but it semi-resembles it. In the fact that you can grow certain things, but you can't grow anything. It's restricted to just nether materials. So you can see here that I've got a setup that's, if you've done any kind of cactus farming, you notice is the exact same type of thing going on here, where you have a cactus here, a block next to where it would grow at, and because it's just like a cactus, if there's a block right next to the cactoid or the cactus, it breaks it off. So that's exactly what's going on here. So this functions just like a cactus, except you plant on another rack instead of sand. And what you get from these is... Oh, that's right, they're going straight to my factory thing. But what you get here is you get a cactoid. And it's actually the same thing. This is what you get. This is what you plant. So if this breaks off, you can replant it, or you can smelt it, which is what I've got going on over here. See if it goes through. Might not. But what you do is smelt this through any smeltery, and what you get out of it is a... Goodness, am I getting... Something strange is going. Huh. I am actually... Oh. Did I? No, okay, there we go. Huh. Gonna get these little blaze nuggets, and they're used for 2 recipes, but the only one we're concerned about is the blaze rod. So you just craft 3 of these, like so, and you get a blaze rod, just like that. So just simple math here, 3 cactoids gets you 1 blaze rod. Pretty straightforward in regards to that. And I actually have those being crafted through my Steve's Factory Manager, so I'm moving the cactoids directly to this smelter here. They never touch the ME, straight into the smeltery, because the only thing they're actually used for, you only smelt them. There's nothing else you can use cactoids for other than planting them. So you smelt them down to the nuggets, and then pass the nuggets to the factory manager to make the blaze rods, which are being done through this one here. And then those are being put into any of these guys down here. See what I mean? It's kind of shoving them all into the same spot. Do not like that. I'll have to mess around with that more and get that to not do that. Yeah. So that's how I'm making blaze rods. I could also set up a blaze rod farm, which is actually quite easy to do. I kind of avoid it because there's not really an easy way to push them to like a grinder. But then I remembered we have your grinder from Draconic Evolution, which just a straight up, I think it's a 3 tier 3 or 7. I think it's 7, like 3 above and 3 below, and then it's 7x7 right in front of it. If I recall correctly. As you can see, I'm doing the wisp right now, but I might set one up for blazes or blizzes or both. But for now, I'm just doing the cactoid method. It's more straightforward, less. It's like, I mean, this is actually better because you're not using power at all. Whereas with a mob farm, you would have to set up a Draconic Evolution mob farm, Ender IO mob farm, or a mob spawner through MFR. And those require power and or mob essence depending on which one you use. So doing this is cheaper and just as effective. But I'm also making my soul sand. And you may be asking, how am I making soul sand? You grab a hoe. Wow, I have no idea what's going on with this. Am I running out of power? Can't be it. No. This is starting to bug me. I think I got some sync issues going on. Anywho. Grab a hoe and just demonstrate here. Now, I had to use an Ender IO farming station for this, because this guy will not work. Initially I thought it just wasn't working on Gany's Nether crops. But I looked into it more, and it's actually that the harvester will only harvest stuff that's on tilled dirt. So because this is on netherrack and tilled netherrack, this just isn't working. And I heard, and I'm gonna try this out, but I heard there's like fertilized dirt and soil, one of the two. If you were to use, there's one of these that you can plant anything on. So we'll try that in the near future. And that should allow the harvester to work on this. Because the issue with using the farming station is it requires a hoe. And here I'm just using obsidian hoe because it's highest durability. But that's just it. It's not infinite type thing. It's already consuming power, but it's also consuming a hoe. Whereas this, just power, I much prefer something that just uses power since I'm making that more easily. I don't have to set up something that makes hoes. That would be dumb. I tried using the hoe from Draconic Evolution, doesn't work. I tried using like a sickle from Tinker's Construct, doesn't work. I even tried using the Void hoe from Thumbcraft, and if you're not familiar with that, the Void hoe self-repairs quite fast, actually. However, the issue is it only works while it's in your inventories. Once you put in here, the Void hoe itself has a very low durability, so it's just gonna break super fast. And unless I overlooked something, I don't think in our mod pack we have any hoes other than the Draconic Evolution one that uses power. I may just be overlooking something. There's actually quite a few tools in our pack that use power. I might try this. I doubt it'll work, but I'm gonna try the sickle from Redstone Arsenal. If that works, that'd be great. I might actually, for those of y'all who are playing specifically on our mod pack, I might actually go in and see if there's a config option to whitelist other things, and there is. I will go ahead and add other tools, the sickles and whatnot, because to be honest, since there's already the harvester, this should be on par with the harvester. Because right now this is just inferior to it, and I'm only using it because it'll do these and this won't. But I've also got green groves hooked up to it, which are probably overkill. Gotta be honest, they probably are. I had to go through a whole ordeal getting that to be sufficient enough to use, and right now they're turned off because I've been having issues with my blood altar. If anyone can figure this out, if you notice at the beginning of my video, I put down 4 of these golems. Maybe they're just dying too fast? Is that it? I probably have them configured incorrectly. Yeah, that might be it. But I had a setup here. If you notice this box here, I had witches inside of it. And all the witches were named. So they wouldn't despawn. Which worked, worked fine. I had, set them up, I logged off, logged on like the next day, they were there. They were still sipping on our potions, full health, all that good stuff. And then I logged on, like, I came back later, and they were just all gone. Didn't die, nothing like that. They disappeared. I'm not sure if it's an issue with our mod pack specifically, or if there's some other mechanic within a config that's doing it. I wouldn't be surprised if it's blood magic doing it, although I'll have to look into that. Not sure if it's a bug or what, but it's kind of annoying. Because I would like to set up a way of, I might just go back to the old spawner method. I was using Cursed Earth, but the problem with Cursed Earth is they won't spawn if you're not nearby. So I'm trying to revert to a mob spawner. Anywho, that's sufficient for my wealth suffering and for my green growth. Anywho, back on track. This here is Spectre Wheat. Now, I forgot to mention, to get these crops, you actually need to take a trip to the Nether here. And what you're going to find throughout the Nether is some crops growing here and there. Find a way out of here. Here we go. Here we go. So you see, as an example here, this is just naturally spawning here. So you just pop that out. Gets you some meats and seeds if you don't drop it in the lava, obviously. You will find the same with the cactoids. You will find one here. I think this is it. Yeah. This is a corsberry bush. And so what you get out of this is, well, on fire. We're on magnet mode here. Better. And you're gonna also find the reeds. And the reeds act just like sugarcane. Except you need to plant it next to lava on netherrack instead of, you know, dirt or sand next to water. And the coarseberry bushes, I do believe you need to plant them near lava as well. They're just like a berry bush. I think we got, yeah, we got that from here. So you're gonna see this here is till netherrack. What you do is you just get netherrack, you till it with a golden hoe. It has to be a golden hoe. There might be certain other modded hoes that work, I'm not sure, but I know for certain it's a golden hoe. You can't use like diamond or stone or whatever. I tried doing it, it won't work. And it's basically going to become wet, so to speak, with lava. Just like, you know, tilled land would become wet with nearby water. And I do think it acts the same as water in that it just needs to be 4 blocks away. You can have like a lava spot here, and your till netherrack over there, and as long as it's within range, it'll work. Except for the netherite, like I said, it acts just like sugarcane, so it has to be right next to lava. You don't have to till it though. Just plant your reed right next to it, like that. This you just craft straight into glowstone dust, whereas with the coarseberry, you actually have to combine them with glass, and you get 6 quartz. So 6 berries, 3 glass, 6 quartz. So if you have, you know, a simple farm going on for making glass through the use of sand, I actually have like just my cobblestones. Throw in cobblestone, gemstone, cobblestone into my crusher or whatever it is through mechanism. No, sag mill. Through Ender IO, creating sand, and then I can add plenty of sand to make glass with. As you see, there's blazing cactuary there. And then the last crop I want to touch on. Oh, bush. I think this makes. Not sure what that's for. Anywho, the last other crop I'm gonna cover, and this is really rare. You're gonna find them in these chests that are throughout the Nether. No. I have heard reports of finding this plant in the Nether just growing, but I've never actually seen one. But you can find the seeds, and what it makes is this here. Just pretty neat. I'll just, you know, pop that. Wither skulls. It's going to grow in wither skulls on all 4 sides. So this one acts just like a berry, like a melon plant, like a shrub, melon, yeah, pumpkin plant or whatever. Except pumpkin and melon plants only grow a melon on one side at a time, whereas this will do all 4. And again, it has to be near lava until netherrack. You can actually accelerate the growth of these. They're pretty slow by themselves. But you can water and can it, green go over it, whatever. It works. Anywho, the spectre wheat can load up here. Oh geez, timed out. Hold on. What you do with the spectre wheat, you grind it up. Throw it into, what I'm doing here is I'm throwing, remember here? Pulverizer, yeah, I'm just doing it through a pulverizer. The spectre wheat gets you spooky flour. You combine the spooky flour with sand, and you get soul sand. So that's how I'm making soul sand. Like I said, I already got it set up making me sand through cobblestone. Obviously I'm making cobblestone with my extruders over there. And, you know, I'm getting soul sand. And then that's where the soul sand comes in, because you need it for these guys here. So that covers everything for this process here. You know, obsidian through extruders, blaze rods through blazing cactoids, soul sand through spooky flower and sand, and then everything else is just providing the iron needed and the lava needed for moving the items through this. And of course, you're going to need ender pearls. On our pack, you can farm ender pearls as well through Ender Lily? I believe it's Ender Lily. But of course, you can always set up like Enderman farm. My point being here is that I will eventually have this automated 100% where I'm not grabbing stuff from like going out killing mobs or grinding it, grabbing it from the ground from mine shafts or whatnot. The iron is going to be a little bit more of a challenge because we're going to have to do that through laser drills. I do plan on eventually making a rather large laser drill farm. I think there is a way of making iron through. That's right, berry bushes. Not as fast. Doable, but not as fast. There is the bee method. Don't think the bee method is very fast either. But my plan is to go the route of laser drills, enough of them to keep enough ore coming through, and then as you may have noticed here, I have a mechanism or processing set up, so I can actually just do this right here. No idea why that's still not working. I'll have to troubleshoot that after this. Really? What is going on? Anyways, you just throw iron into your ore processing if you have this set up. Good. If not, I recommend you looking at my previous video where I went over the whole mechanism ore processing. But you just toss any ore into here as long as it produces an ingot, not. You can't do like lapis or redstone or diamonds. It has to be an ingot producing ore. Toss it into there, and you basically get 5 ingots per 1 ore. So even though the laser drills could potentially be a bit slow, it should all even out when the ores are moved through this setup here. And then I'm going to kind of touch real quick on what I'm doing here. Like I said, I got my blood altar going on to provide enough blood to keep my green groves going. Of course, it's disabled as I try to work out the kinks in my system. It's still a work in progress. But this actually produces quite a bit of blood pretty quick. The only trouble is I can't keep any mobs alive long enough to do it. And then I'm just messing with some Thaumcraft to get golems. There's some other underlying problem, obviously, because I thought it was just the witches, and I tried the golems, and I don't know. I'm kind of noobish to some of the Thaumcraft stuff, so give me on that, because it is quite extensive. We've added quite a few add-ons to Thaumcraft, so a lot to digest here. Yeah, that is my Nether Star setup in progress. Uses some pretty nifty mods to make it work. I really love Steve's Factory Manager. I love what it can do. Oh, and I kind of forgot to mention here, real quick. I am just pumping materials because you can't interface Steve's Factory Manager directly with your EME system. So Steve's Factory Manager isn't able to go, oh, hey, you have iron in your ME system. Let me pull that out and use it. So instead, you have to. I was doing a method where I was just export busing it to a chest. But But the problem with that is export buses on AE2 don't round robin anything. They kind of go, oh, you want to export item A, item B, item C, and item D. Oh, I'm going to keep exporting item A until you're either out of that material or, you know, your chest is full. I'm not even going to move on to the next material until material A is, you know, gone from your system. So, needless to say, this was just filling up with like one material, which obviously wasn't working. So, I'm kind of dicking around with ME interfaces, and it's working because material will stay in here until, you know, Steve's Factory Manager needs it. And you can kind of regulate it as far as how many go in at a time, which is great because if you see here, there's one of each, and this is technically an inventory, which is why Steve's Factory Manager can work with it. So this is the portion where Steve's Factory Manager is interfacing with. It's going, oh, there's actually spooky flower here. Okay, I can use it. It's not seeing any of this. This is ME saying, oh, let me look for, you know, blaze nuggets in your ME system. If there is 64 in an ME system, I'm going to pull it from it and put it in this slot here. That's what's going on here, and you can, again, fine-tune it, control it, add or subtract what you need. Actually have each process pulling from both of these at the same time. And as I add more, you know, I'll just add them to my list of inputs. But yeah, that is so far my Nether Star production. Not too difficult, just a lot of steps to set up. But as far as space it takes up, it's actually not a whole lot of space. You actually probably don't need Blood Magic and Thumbcraft for it. I'm just using those to up production of certain things. So they're more supplemental than necessary. And like I said, in a future episode, I will be doing some fiddling around with the volcanic furnaces. What these do is they produce lava with materials. You can actually stick anything, and I do mean anything, in these. String in here, like it's making lava. Stick flesh in there, it's making lava. You can stick, you know, I don't know, or the skull in there, and it makes lava. But the thing is that this process right here is kind of slow. And I initially thought it would just bottleneck here, and that was that. Because you can stick like another star or dragon egg in here. If you stick a dragon egg in here, it produces a shit ton of lava. But again, is it going to take forever to actually move it out? But then someone told me about cells, the little lava cells here. These are it. And if you stick them all around this guy here, and you're probably thinking, you can only do 5 sides of it. Which initially I thought, yeah, you can only do 5 sides of it because you need one side open to move inventory in and out. Thankfully with Ender IO, you only need one side, so you can say, you know, put materials in with an item conduit and move fluid out, move your lava out with a fluid conduit, and you can do that in the same spot. However, there is something with Thumbcraft that allows you to interact with a block remotely. I just don't remember what that was. But there's also the it might actually be the transvector interface, but the transvector interface, I'm going to play around with it and see what actually works. But I can put like a transvector interface like right here, bind it to this, and then slap focus lava cells all around the interface, and it applies its effect to these. So you can have virtually an infinite amount of focus lava cells, and what that would do is allow this volcanic furnace to move its lava that it's making with like dragon eggs a lot faster out of the furnace. So it would overcome the bottleneck. But yeah, there's kind of a sneak peek on what I might do in an episode. Again, this is the Rebirth Gaming mod pack. It is available on Technic and Feed the Beast. I will put some links in the description for how to get that mod pack. This is on our official server. It's whitelisted, but we accept pretty much anyone. And that about covers it. So, have a good day.